Caught my wife with my best friend, then I exposed her $48K scam. I caught her laughing about me with him on a call. That laugh ended our future. If this story grabs you, don't forget to drop a comment and subscribe to Viora for more unforgettable tales that hit deep. I'm Evan Brooks, 42, a tech entrepreneur who turned a garage startup into a $15 million cybersecurity firm, not Silicon Valley rich, but solid enough for a loft in Chicago's West Loop, a Tesla Model S, and a vacation home in Aspen. My wife, Emma Larson, was the spark in my world. Blonde, sharp-witted, with a smile that could close deals or break hearts. We met at a tech conference in Seattle, her pitching her event planning business, me fumbling my pitch for a date. 8 years later, we're the power couple, me building firewalls, her orchestrating galas for Chicago's elite no kids. Just us, a team that worked. Emma's got a knack for making things happen. Charity balls, client dinners, our annual Tahoe retreat. I'm the numbers guy crunching code and contracts while she's the vision turning ideas into reality. Our loft's always alive, friends crashing for whiskey nights. Her brother Nate Larson mooching off our Wi-Fi. Nate's a 35-year-old freelance artist who's been finding himself since Obama's first term. I've covered his rent more times than I can count. Because Emma says he's family, I didn't mind. I'm the guy who shows up. Last spring, I planned a big getaway to Santa Fe, a 10th anniversary surprise. A desert estate private chef stargazing tour with an astronomer I'd been slammed locking in a $5 million contract with a bank, and I wanted to spoil Emma. I booked first-class flights, a Range Rover rental, even a pottery workshop she'd love. Dropped $25,000, no hesitation. This was for her. The first crack came 3 months out. Emma started pulling back. She's always glued to her phone clients' vendors, but now she'd angle it away when I walked by. She'd smirk at texts, then shrug when I asked. Just work. She'd say, tossing her hair, I let it go. Trust is everything, right? But then she started skipping our dinners, claiming last-minute events. She'd roll in at 1 a.m., her perfume different, her eyes dodging mine. Crazy night, she'd mumble. My gut churned, but I'm not the jealous type. I'm the guy who fixes things. Then I heard his name. Kyle Simmons, my best friend since college. We were frat brothers at Northwestern, shared a dorm, started my company together. He left 5 years ago to launch his own startup, a logistics app that tanked. Now he's back in Chicago running a consulting gig, all charm and no substance. Emma mentioned him casually last month. Kyle's helping with a client event. He's got connections. I didn't blink. Kyle's like family. But one night at 2 a.m., I overheard her on a call in the study, her laugh low and flirty. Kyle, stop, you're awful, she giggled. My blood froze. I stood outside the door. Her words a knife. Evan's so wrapped up in work he doesn't even notice I didn't barge in. I'm not that guy. I went to bed, her laugh echoing the loft's city lights, mocking me. The next morning I made breakfast, kissed her cheek, acted normal. Inside I was a storm. Doubt's a slow poison. It doesn't scream, it creeps. I needed proof, not paranoia. So I checked our bank accounts. $500 dinners at spots she never mentioned. $1.200 at a boutique for a dress I never saw. Then a $600 charge at the Drake Hotel one night. Emma had said she was crashing at a friend's that day. Friends don't cost $600. I didn't confront her. I'm a data guy. Facts over feelings. I hired a PI. Lucas Reed, ex-cop with a nose for dirt track. Emma, I told him. Discreet. 2 days later, he sent photos Emma and Kyle at a rooftop bar in River North, her hand on his arm, his grin too close. They left together, heading to his condo. I stared at the images, my coffee cold, the loft's silence deafening. This wasn't just a fling. It was a betrayal by the two people I trusted most. That night Emma came home, all smiles. Event went great, she said, kicking off her heels. I nodded, my jaw tight. Good, I said, flipping through a contract. Her lie hung between us, a crack in the glass. The next day Nate called me to his dive bar in Wicker Park. Yo, Evan, we gotta talk about Santa Fe, he said, his voice oily. I figured he wanted a free ride. Nate's always angling for handouts. I met him expecting a quick pitch. Instead, he leaned in, beer breath and all, and dropped a bomb. Emma's inviting some friends to the trip, he said, smirking. Kyle's coming, and so's Ryan. Holt, Emma's college boyfriend. They dated for 3 years, split when he moved to Denver for a finance job. He's back now, a hedge fund guy with a Gold Coast penthouse. Emma mentioned running into him at a gala last week, said it was nostalgic. Now he's on my trip, friends, I said, my voice flat, gripping my glass. Who else? Nate shrugged, avoiding my eyes. Just them, Emma thought it'd be fun. You know, a group vibe? I leaned forward, my stare cutting. And I'm paying for this group vibe. Nate. He flinched. You're the big shot, man. You always cover stuff. I stood my chair scraping, so Emma's inviting her ex and my best friend to the vacation I planned, and I'm the bank. Nate's mouth opened, then shut. I walked out, my pulse hammering. In the car, my phone pinged a text from Emma. Hey babe, Santa Fe's gonna be epic. Got some cool ideas. Cool, sure. That night I couldn't sleep. Kyle's grin. Ryan's name, they burned into me. I checked Lucas's latest report. Emma at Kyle's condo 3 nights this week. I pulled our bank app. Another charge, $1,500 at a jeweler. No new jewelry on Emma. I leaned back, the loft's skyline glinting, my chest tight. This wasn't just cheating. It was a setup. The next morning I called my assistant, Tara, cancel Santa Fe. I said, flight's estate chef tour. Refund what you can. Tara's ex-army doesn't flinch at big calls. Done. She said I didn't tell Emma. I didn't tell anyone. I acted. By noon the trip was gone. I sent a group email to Emma, Nate, Kyle, and Ryan, trips off, no discussion. Then I booked a one-way flight to Portland, Oregon. My old college buddy Jake runs a tech hub there. I needed space to think. I packed a bag, left my ring on the counter, and drove to O'Hare. Emma called as I hit the expressway. Evan, what the hell, you canceled Santa Fe? Nate's freaking out. Her voice was sharp. Panicked. Yeah, I said, eyes on the road, I did. Why, what's wrong with you? I smirked. Cold. Ask Kyle or Ryan. She went silent. Then, Evan, you're blowing this out of proportion. It's not what it looks like. Save it, I said, and hung up. At the airport, I got a text from Jake's girlfriend Mia, a coder with zero filter. Check your email. You need to see this. Attached were screenshots. Emma's texts, with Kyle hotel receipts. A photo of them kissing in his condo's elevator. Mia had hacked Nate's phone where Emma had synced her burner app. One text gutted me. Evan's too busy to notice Santa Fe's hours. Another from Kyle. Can't wait to have you in that desert. I forwarded it to my lawyer, Ethan Cole. Start the divorce. I texted freeze the accounts. Ethan's a shark ex-prosecutor, no mercy on it, he replied. In Portland, I crashed at Jake's loft, the city's rain, a steady hum outside over bourbon. I spilled the story. Jake shook his head. They played you, man, but you hit back hard. I wasn't sure canceling Santa Fe felt right, but the hole in my chest didn't close. 8 years and I'd been blind. Emma's laugh, Kyle's betrayal. Nate's smirk, they looped in my head. But there was something I hadn't told Jake. 6 years ago I'd slipped, not an affair but a moment. A client. Lauren, too flirty, at a conference in Vegas. We danced, got close, stopped short. I told Emma, swore it was nothing. She forgave me, or so I thought. Was this her revenge? Or something colder? The next day I got an email from Nate. Evan, you screwed us. Emma's a mess. How could you do this? Attached was Emma's Instagram story, her at the airport in a sundress caption. Santa Fe dreams crushed. Thanks, Evan. The comments were brutal, friends calling me heartless. A jerk. I didn't respond. I checked the bank app. Ethan had frozen the accounts, but not before Nate pulled $6,000 from our business line. My money. My firm. I texted Ethan, add fraud to the suit. Nate's done that night. Mia texted Emma's with Kyle. Ryan's pissed, thinks he was played too. I stared at the message. Portland's rain streaking the windows. Emma wasn't just cheating. She was running a game and I was the fool. But fools don't win. I opened my laptop, pulled up my firm's client list. Kyle's consulting gig was there, $800, 000 under my management. I smiled sharp. This wasn't over. What would you do if your best friend and your wife turned your life into a lie? Portland's rain lashed Jake's loft windows as I glared at Kyle Simmons' client. File $800, 000 in assets. My firm's lifeline, keeping his sham consulting gig alive. I could ruin him with a single call. Bleed his accounts dry. My finger grazed the phone, but I stopped. Revenge is a cheap shot, hot for a moment, then cold. I needed a reckoning. I slammed the laptop shut, the city's hum a faint pulse, and poured another bourbon. Emma's laugh. Kyle's betrayal. Nate's theft. It wasn't just personal. It was a heist, and I was the safe morning hit. Gray and unforgiving. My phone buzzed. Ethan, my lawyer, his voice sharp. Evan, check your email. This runs deep. I opened it at Jake's counter, the air sour with stale coffee. The files were a gut punch, bank records, wire transfers, all pointing to Nate Larson, Emma's brother. That $6,000 he'd yanked from my business account was nothing. He'd been skimming for a year $200 here. $500 there funneled into a shell account labeled Larson Ventures. Total take $48,000, my money, my sweat funding his dive bar tabs and art hustle. The real blow. Emma's name was on the account co-signed as a partner. I gripped the counter, my knuckles white. How'd we miss this? I texted Ethan. Trust, he replied. They used it like a blade. Nate's the front, but Emma's the brains, Emma. The woman I'd planned Santa Fe with, who'd whispered promises over late-night wine. She wasn't just cheating with Kyle. She was robbing me hand in hand with her brother. I pictured her at the Drake, kissing Kyle in that $1.200 dress I'd paid for, while Nate pocketed my cash. I wasn't just betrayed, I was their mark. Build the case, I told Ethan, fraud theft. Whatever sticks, I want them to feel it on it, he said. Nate's toast. I paced the loft, rain drumming outside. My mind snagged on Ryan Holt. Emma's college ex invited to my Santa Fe trip. Kyle was the obvious knife best friend close enough to twist, but Ryan a hedge fund shark, who'd left her for Denver. Why him? It felt like a glitch. A move. She hadn't calculated. I called Mia, Jake's girlfriend, who'd sent the screenshots. What's Ryan's deal? I asked, stepping onto the balcony, the city's mist biting my skin. Mia's voice was hushed like she was dodging ears. Emma's playing him, she said. Heard Nate at a bar. They're after Ryan's money. His fund's got $30 million. Emma's pitching her event business as a front, says she'll manage his investor galas. It's a con. Nate's forging invoices. They were going to use Santa Fe to lock him in your estate. Your dime, Ryan's signature. I laughed bitter, the rain soaking my shirt. So I'm funding their scam on Ryan. Exactly. Mia said Kyle's the enforcer, keeps Emma focused, makes sure she doesn't crack Ryan's the target. They knew you'd never check Ryan Holt a mark. He wasn't some lovesick ex falling for Emma's charm. He was a Wall Street predator. If he was playing along, he had his own angle. I needed answers. I called Lucas, my PI, dig into Ryan Holt. I said finances, deals, his link to Emma, everything. Give me 36 hours, Lucas said. While I waited, I checked Emma's Instagram from a burner account. She was milking the victim card, posting moody Chicago skylines captions about broken dreams. Her followers ate it up, showering her with "Stay strong." Then I saw a story her with Kyle sipping martinis at a Chicago rooftop bar. Caption: New Horizons. My jaw clenched. New Horizons, my ass. She was diving deeper into Kyle's game. Lucas called back, his tone grim. Ryan's filthy SEC's on him, insider trading offshore accounts. Emma's business is a shell laundering cash through event invoices. Nate's account is the funnel stashing funds in the Caymans. Your business accounts. They've been a cover. Small transfers to dodge red flags. I sank onto Jake's couch, the room spinning. Emma's not just a thief. She's a criminal. Deep in it, Lucas said. But Ryan's the puppet master. He's got Emma and Nate thinking they're partners, but he's setting them up to take the fall if the feds close in. You're the collateral. I rubbed my temples. The truth await. My wife wasn't just cheating, she was running a federal crime, and my firm was her shield. Send me the files, I said. The evidence hit my inbox: transfers emails. A call of Nate telling Emma Evans too busy to notice, keep him sweet. I forwarded it to Ethan, add money laundering to the suit. I said, tip, the SEC anonymous. Ethan whistled. You're going nuclear, Evan. They started the war. I said I could have stopped there. The evidence was enough to sink Emma and Nate, but Mia's text lingered. Ryan thinks he was played too. If Ryan was the mastermind, why invite Kyle to Santa Fe? Kyle wasn't just Emma's lover, he was a wild card. I called Lucas. Look into Kyle Simmons. His link to Ryan, Lucas reported back in a day. Kyle's not just your buddy. He said he's Ryan's fixer. They go back to Denver. Ryan bankrolled Kyle's failed startup. Kyle's been steering Emma for Ryan, keeping her in line, reporting her moves. Ryan doesn't trust her. Kyle's, his eyes. I leaned against the loft's wall, the pieces snapping together. So Kyle's not into her. It's a job, Lucas said. He's sleeping with her, sure, but it's for the cash. Ryan's propping up Kyle's consulting gig, a front. Emma thinks she's got Kyle, but he's got her. My mind reeled. Emma wasn't the queen. She was a pawn. Ryan was the king. Kyle his knight. Nate, a grunt. I was the board they'd trampled, but boards don't fight back. I needed leverage. I called Mia. Meet me in Chicago, bring everything on Nate. She agreed, no hesitation. I booked a flight, my bag packed. Portland's rain fading as I hit the airport. Oregon was a hideout, but Chicago was where this ended. In Chicago, I met Mia at a diner in Wicker Park, the kind with sticky booths and burnt coffee. She slid a USB across the table. Nate's emails, texts, bank records. He's been skimming your clients' fake referrals. Pocketing fees, about $10, 000. I plugged the drive into my laptop. The evidence was ironclad. Nate had emailed my clients forging my name, funneling commissions to a PayPal account. He'd bragged to Emma Evans blind easy money. My fist clenched. I'd paid his rent and he'd sold me out for scraps. Why turn on him? I asked Mia. She stirred her coffee, her eyes cold. Nate's cheating on me, with Emma's assistant Claire. Found their texts. I'm done being his sidekick. Another twist. Claire, Emma's quiet assistant, always juggling schedules, now tangled with Nate. This wasn't a love story, it was a mess. I almost smirked. I thanked Mia and headed to my firm's office in the Loop Tara. My assistant met me at the door, her ex-army grit steady. You look rough, she said, tossing me an espresso. I briefed her. Nate's theft, Emma's laundering. Kyle's double-cross Ryan's scheme. Her jaw tightened. What's the move? Lock Nate out of the system. I said. Pull Kyle's account. Set a meeting with Ryan tomorrow. Tara raised an eyebrow. You're meeting the guy behind your wife's affair. He's not behind her. I said he's behind a crime. That night I crashed at a hotel in River North Chicago's skyline, a sea of light. My phone lit up a text from Emma Evan. I'm at the loft. Please talk. I stared at her words, her desperation almost convincing. I didn't reply. I texted Mia. Get Claire to talk. Then I called Ethan, served the divorce papers. Morning came and I walked into Ryan's office, a sleek tower in the Gold Coast. He stood behind a desk, his handshake firm, his smile oily. Evan, he said, sorry about Santa Fe Emma's. Impulsive. I sat my face stone. Drop the act. Ryan, I know about the laundering. The shell account's Kyle's role. You're using Emma and Nate to dodge the SEC. His smile held, but his eyes flickered. Big accusations. Got proof. I slid a USB across Lucas's files, scrubbed clean. Transfers, emails, Nate's call. This hits the feds unless you back off. Leave Emma and Nate to me. Stay out of my firm. Ryan leaned back, fingers tapping. You're sharper than Emma said. Sharper than you thought. I shot back. He scanned the drive, then chuckled. All right, Brooks. I'll step back. Emma's your mess. I stood leaving the drive. Always was. My phone buzzed as I left Mia. Claire's talking. Meet me tonight. I hailed a cab, the city a blur. Ryan might have backed off, but this wasn't done. Emma was begging, Claire was spilling, and Kyle was a snake. I met Mia at a dive bar in Logan Square, the air thick with smoke and alt-rock. Claire sat in a booth, shredding a napkin, her eyes darting. I didn't want this, she blurted. Nate pushed me. Said it was business, I said, sliding in. Stealing from me. Sleeping with him behind Mia's back. Claire flinched. He said you were distant. Emma needed help. We were saving her. Saving her, I leaned forward. By laundering money, by screwing me. She shook her head, tears welling. I didn't know at first. Nate gave me invoices, said they were for Emma's events. Then I saw the numbers, millions offshore. I asked, and he threatened me. Said I'd lose my job. I glanced at Mia, who nodded. She's legit. Found Nate's threats on her phone. What else? I asked Claire. She swallowed. Emma's got a side deal with Kyle. He's promising investors for her business. But he's recording her every call, every meeting. He's got a blackmail file. My pulse spiked. Kyle wasn't just Ryan's dog. He was a predator circling Emma. Where's the file? Claire shook her head, his laptop. Maybe? He's obsessive, keeps it locked. I slid her my card. Find it, you want out, help me. She nodded, hands shaking. Mia walked her out, leaving me alone. Kyle was double-crossing. Ryan was dodging. Emma was trapped, thinking she was in charge. But something felt off, a shadow I couldn't place. Next day, Jake called. You know, Chris Waller. Chris was my old business school buddy now, a fintech CEO in Boston. We'd stayed tight but hadn't talked since the wedding. Yeah, I said, what's up? He's in Chicago. Jake said. Saw Emma at a tech event with Kyle acting sketchy. He's got a bad vibe, wants to talk. I met Chris at a steakhouse in the Loop, his polished vibe clashing with the dark wood. He didn't waste time. Emma's in trouble, Evan. She was at this event pitching investors. Kyle was there. So was Ryan. I know Ryan's shady SEC heat. Emma's scared. Scared, I said, my fork still. Chris nodded. Heard her with Kyle in a side room. She said, "If Evan finds out, I'm done." Kyle laughed. Said Ryan's got her locked. It's bad. I leaned back, the steakhouse fading. Emma scared. The woman who'd lied stolen, was she a victim, or playing me again? I thanked Chris and left my head spinning. That night I drove to the loft, its windows dark except a kitchen glow. Emma's car was there, a black sedan beside it. I stepped inside, boots heavy on the hardwood. Emma sat at the counter, wine glass in hand, eyes red. "Evan," she said, standing. "Thank God. Save it," I said, dropping my bag. "I know it all, Kyle, Ryan, the money. Nate's shell account, you're done." She froze, glass trembling. "It's not what you think, Ryan. He's dangerous." I had no choice. I laughed cold. "No choice. You stole from me for years. You invited your ex and my best friend to my trip. You're a liar." Her face crumpled, but the back door creaked. Kyle stepped in, smirk fading when he saw me. "Brooks," he said. "Smooth. Didn't expect you. Get out," I said, voice low. He raised his hands, mock surrender, just checking on Emma. Rough night. I stepped closer, fists clenched. "You're recording her, blackmailing her for Ryan." His eyes widened. Then he recovered, chuckling. "You're out of your depth, Evan. Walk away." I grabbed his collar, slamming him against the wall. "You walk, or I send your files to the feds. Ryan's not the only one they want." Emma gasped. "Evan, stop." Kyle shoved me off, fixing his jacket. "Big mistake," he said, and slipped out. I turned to Emma, her face pale. "Talk." I said everything. She sank into a chair, voice shaking. "Ryan hooked me 2 years ago. Said he'd boost my business, but I had to move money. Small at first, then Big Nate pushed me, said it was our chance to be free. I didn't know it was illegal until it was too late. Kyle. He was my way out, but he's got tapes, Evan. Of me, Ryan. Everything." I stared at her. The woman I'd loved, now a stranger. Truth or another lie. My phone buzzed. Ethan Papers served SECs moving on Ryan, stay clear. I looked at Emma, her tears glinting. The loft felt like a tomb, the city's hum faint. I grabbed my bag. "You're on your own," I said, and walked out. The sedan's headlights flashed, someone inside. I froze, hand on my phone. The door opened and Nate stepped out, face pale. "Evan, wait, we gotta talk," I laughed, bitter. "Too late, Nate. I know you're stealing, spying, screwing Claire. You're done." He shook his head, frantic. "It's Ryan. He's coming for you. He knows you tipped the feds." The night closed in the loft's shadow, swallowing us. I gripped my phone, Emma's voice echoing Nate's warning. Ringing. Ryan wasn't backing off. He was hunting. I shoved Nate toward my Tesla. "Get in, you're with me." We sped toward Ethan's office. Nate babbling about Ryan's people, a fixer named Marcus Tate, ex-security, and a lawyer, Vanessa Klein, who hid his accounts. I barely listened, my eyes on the rear view. A black SUV trailed us, headlights low. I floored it, the Tesla's silence eerie as we hit Lakeshore Drive. The SUV kept pace, not closing in. They were watching. I lost them in the loop, ducking through alleys. Ethan was waiting at his firm, the glass tower, a fortress. "Feds are moving on." "Ryan," he said, eyeing Nate like garbage. "You trust this guy?" "No," I said, shoving Nate into a chair. "But he's useful." Mia arrived with Claire, who clutched a laptop. I got into Kyle's cloud. Claire said, voice trembling. "Recordings, Emma, Ryan. Nate deals, calls meetings. He's got a blackmail stash." I scanned the files, audio, video, encrypted docs. One clip was Ryan and Emma in a car, his voice ice Brooks's trouble. "If he digs, Tate handles him." My skin prickled. I was a target. "Send it to the FBI, I told Claire. "Back it up everywhere." Mia crossed her arms. "What's next, Evan?" "Ryan's not sitting still. We find his laptop." I said, "Kyle's got the real files there." A new twist hit that night. Tara called, voice tense. "Found a backdoor in our servers. Someone's been leaking your emails, client lists, everything. Not Nate." "Someone inside." I froze, the office's hum fading. "Who working on it?" Tara said. "But they've got deep access. Ryan's been ahead because of them." I hung up, my mind racing. A mole in my firm, Tara was loyal. Ethan was a bulldog. Mia was clean, but someone was feeding Ryan my moves. I told Tara to dig deeper, no mercy. The next day, Jake flew in unannounced. "Heard you're in deep," he said, his tech bro grin strained. "Got a lead. My firm's got security cams at the peninsula. Caught Emma and Kyle fighting 4 days ago." He showed me the video. Emma pacing, voice sharp. "You said Ryan would back off, Kyle." "He's threatening me." Kyle smirked. "Keep quiet, we're fine." Emma slammed the wall. "You're recording this, aren't you?" I looked at Jake. "Why go this hard?" He sighed. Invested $150,000 in Emma's business last year. Saw Ryan's name, knew he was dirty. When I heard you were caught, I owed you. I nodded, but his timing nagged. Too clean, I shelved it. Where's Kyle now, Cicero? Jake said. Warehouse district, my CPD contact spotted him. We drove to Cicero the warehouse, a rusted hulk. Jake's contact, Lieutenant Malone, met us a block away. Kyle's inside, he said. Maybe Ryan feds are 30 minutes out. We crept in the air, thick with oil. Voices echoed. Kyle's panicked. Ryan's cold. You screwed us! Simmons, Ryan snapped. Brooks has the files. A laptop glowed on a crate. Kyle's. I stepped out. It's over. Ryan feds are coming. Give me the laptop. Ryan laughed. You're a dead man. Brooks' gunfire erupted. I dove behind crates. Jake firing back. Malone burst in shouting. Kyle bolted, laptop in hand. I tackled him, the laptop skidding across concrete. Ryan vanished as feds swarmed, cuffing Kyle back at Ethan's. Claire cracked the laptop. Recordings confirmed everything. Ryan's deals, Kyle's blackmail, Nate's role. But one file chilled me, a doctored video of me in Vegas 6 years ago with Lauren cut to look like an affair. Kyle's note, if Brooks fights, this drops. I confronted Emma at Ethan's office, dawn breaking. You knew about this, I said, pointing to the video. You let them frame me, she sobbed. I was trapped. Evan Ryan had me. I didn't want this. You wanted everything I said. Walking out. Ethan called. Feds hit Ryan's safe house. He's gone, but they've got his accounts, $20 million frozen. Emma's talking. Nate's arrested. Kyle's done. I stared at Chicago's skyline. Ryan was a ghost. Emma a stranger. And my firm was tainted. The mole was still out there, and Jake's story didn't add up. I wasn't done fighting. Chicago's skyline glittered from my hotel window. A cold reminder of the life I'd lost. Ryan Holt was a ghost. Emma a stranger, Nate caged, and Kyle buried under federal charges. The doctored Vegas video me and Lauren twisted to look like an affair burned in my mind. Emma had known, had let Kyle's trap fester a noose for me if I got too close. Jake's convenient heroics and the mole in my firm kept me up the city's hum, a taunt. I wasn't the mark anymore, but the game wasn't over. Morning brought a call from Tara. Her voice clipped. Found the mole, Greg Harper Jr. developer. His script's been leaking your emails to Ryan for a year. Greg, the quiet kid who brought bagels to meetings, blushing at praise. My stomach turned. Bring him in, I said, gripping my coffee. Greg sat across from me in my office, his glasses fogging, hands trembling. I didn't have a choice, Evan. He stammered. Ryan's people threatened my mom. Hospital bills. Her house, I just sent emails. Small stuff, small stuff. I leaned in, voice low. You gave them my life, Greg. My clients, my moves. You watched them gut me, he sobbed, head down. I'm sorry you're done, I said, nodding to Tara. Feds will handle you. Tara escorted him out, and I sank into my chair, the skyline mocking me. Greg's betrayal wasn't personal. It was another crack in the foundation. I called Lucas. My PI find Ryan. He's not done. Lucas was blunt. He's off-grid crypto fake IDs, but I've got to lead Vanessa Klein, his lawyer. She's in Chicago meeting a contact tonight. Westtown warehouse. I grabbed my jacket. Send me the address. Ethan warned me off. Feds are closing in, Evan. Let them take it. But I couldn't. Ryan had played me, Emma. Everyone I needed to face him. I met Jake at a diner, his tech bro grin gone. I'm in, he said. But Malone's out. CPD's on a leash with the feds. I nodded, still wary of his motives. His $150,000 investment in Emma's business felt like a half-truth. We hit the Westtown warehouse at dusk, a rusted shell reeking of oil. Inside, Vanessa Klein stood under a flickering bulb, a briefcase at her feet, talking to a man in a suit, Ryan. My pulse spiked. Jake signaled his Glock ready. I stepped out, voice steady. Game's up, Ryan, feds are coming. He spun, eyes narrowing. Brooks. Persistent bastard. Vanessa froze, clutching the briefcase. Give me the briefcase. I said it's over. Ryan laughed, pulling a gun. You're not the hero, Evan. You're a glitch. Jake fired a warning shot, shattering a window. Vanessa screamed, dropping the briefcase. I dove for it. Ryan's bullet grazing my arm. Jake tackled him, the gun skidding across concrete. I grabbed the briefcase, sprinting for the exit as feds stormed in. Their shouts echoing. Ryan was cuffed. Vanessa too, but not before she spat. You're too late, Brooks. The broker's got you. The broker. The shadow in Ryan's video. The British voice pulling strings. I handed the briefcase to the feds. Documents, drives, proof of Ryan's offshore accounts. But Vanessa's words stuck. Back at Ethan's office, Claire decrypted the drives. They confirmed Ryan's crimes. Kyle's blackmail, Nate's fraud. One file named Broker was locked, a taunt we couldn't crack. Emma was in custody, her testimony nailing Ryan's network. Ethan called with an update. Nate's facing 10 years. Kyle's cut a deal giving up Tate. Ryan's done conspiracy laundering, attempted murder. You're clear, Evan. Am I said, staring at the city. The broker was out there, and Jake's story still didn't add up. I confronted him at a bar in Fulton Market, the Bourbon Sharp. Truth, Jake. Why go so hard? He sighed, draining his glass. Ryan approached me 2 years ago. Wanted my firm's security tech for his deals. I said no, but he had dirt hacked my emails, threatened my board. I fed him scraps to keep him off, then saw Emma's name. I owed you, Evan. I nodded, not fully buying it. Stay clean, I said, leaving. That night, Mia texted, found Lauren. She's in Chicago, wants to meet Lauren, the Vegas client Ryan had paid to tempt me. I met her at a cafe in Lincoln Park. Her eyes wary. Ryan set me up. She said paid me to get close to smear you. I backed off because I liked you, but he kept my emails, used them to map your life. Why now? I asked, coffee cold. I'm done hiding. She said Ryan's gone, but someone else reached out last week. British accent. Said to stay quiet or I'm next. The broker. I leaned back, the cafe's chatter fading. Ryan was down, but the real player was still out there. I sent Lauren to Ethan her story, another piece for the feds. I moved to a new hotel, the Loft, a memory I couldn't face. Tara's audit found no more moles, but the broker's shadow loomed. Emma's last letter slipped to me through. Ethan sat unopened on the desk. I tore it open. Evan, I was wrong. I thought I could control it. Forgive me. I crumpled it. Forgiveness wasn't mine to give. The feds froze $25 million of Ryan's assets, indicted his network, and flagged the broker as a person of interest. I rebuilt my firm, purged Nate's accounts, and cut ties with Jake. Lauren vanished, likely under witness protection. I stood at the Chicago Riverwalk, the city's pulse steady. I'd won, but at what cost? The broker was out there watching. Would I hunt him or walk away? What do you do when the truth costs everything? Did I fight too hard or not enough? Trust is a currency you don't get back. Like what you heard, hit that like button. Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to Viora, because the next story might just be your favorite one yet.